Hello folks and welcome back to another Block Party Q&A. We got so many questions through when we asked for them for the previous Q&A that we ended up making it 2 episodes. So we are now going to be carrying on with the rest of the questions that we didn't have time to answer on the first one. If you get all the way through to the end of this and your question still isn't answered, don't worry. We are going to try and do these Q&As a little bit more frequently because everyone seems to get very excited when they happen. And when we do ask for questions, make sure you leave a thumbs up. It all happens on the community page. We'll ask for your questions on there. You ask the questions in the replies, like the ones that you most want to see answered, because they're the most popular ones are the ones that are more likely to make it into the episode. If you missed part 1, I'll link to that down below. But those questions weren't better. They were just different. Let's do the questions for this one. What has been your favourite Lego set that you've ever bought? And for Anna as well, what has been her favourite set she's ever got? I mean, I think it's difficult to define favourite for me, which is such a weird answer. And it does vary day by day. I've got so many that are favourites for different reasons. I think the best Lego set I've ever built is probably the big Pokemon set that came out earlier this year. But it's difficult to say that's my favourite because it was nearly £600 and that stings. Lion Knight's Castle is right up there as well, but was also very, very expensive. And then we've got stuff like the Mario Piranha plant, which was basically the set that brought me back to Lego as an adult. It's something that for a long time, ever since the kids started to get a little bit older and started to move out and we started to get a little bit more, I've talked before, time, space and money, the 3 things that we needed to be able to actually get into Lego again. They all, believe it or not, started to turn up when our kids became adults and moved out of home. All of a sudden, we started to have a bit more time, space and money than we had before. They're 3 key ingredients to Lego. So there'd been a long time where there'd been a lot of cool sets that had made me want to get back into Lego again. But I hadn't really taken the plunge. I remember being in the Lego store at Disneyland Paris and looking very longingly at the NES when that first came out. We would always go to the Lego stores when we were down in London. I remember being in Harrods and Hamleys and looking longingly at the Lego. I even got some of the little Pokemon tiny little nano block sets and built those. I had the odd Minecraft set here and there from when I was mega into Minecraft at various stages, but I hadn't really taken the plunge to get back into Lego. It was really difficult to justify like throwing a lot of money at it when I wasn't completely sure. The Piranha plant set in B&M, it was like £35-40, not long after it had come out, I don't think, because we're going back like 3 years ago. I grabbed it, I built it, I loved it. I then immediately ordered the Avengers Tower for me and the Disney Castle for Anna, and the rest is history. So they're also important sets for that same reason. So yeah, I've got lots of favourite sets. The Camp Nou, which you can't see, it's just off camera behind me, I love because it's the first set I ever built on stream. The Piranha Plant's the first one I ever made any content on. And then you've got stuff like Kevin and Hey Hey, who are both hanging out behind me, who are just fantastic sets because they look awesome. So yeah, I've got lots of favourites. The Batcave Shadow Box is brilliant. I love all my Lego. I think if I had to say one, I think in terms of build experience, compared with price, compared with importance to me and my Lego journey, it's probably Lion Knight's Castle. But if you ask me again tomorrow, that could change. For Anna, it's really easy. Her favourite set is the tall neck from Horizon. Unless that's changed recently. Ask her on the next stream, but I think that's the answer she usually gives. She loves that set. I went to a brick convention in Orlando last week and was disappointed by how expensive the prices were on all the sets, including brand new sets that just came out. Do you have any thoughts why this happens at conventions where the prices are outrageous? I think the word outrageous isn't needed there. I don't think the prices at Lego conventions are outrageous. I think they are expensive sometimes, but I think you have to understand, I guess, why they would be more expensive sometimes. And there's 2 categories of Lego for us to look at there. So we'll look at them both separately. You've got the retired stuff and the new stuff. And I think there's different reasons for each. There's different reasons why it's important for both to be at conventions. And there's reasons why they would both maybe be more expensive than buying elsewhere. Firstly, with the retired stuff, the main stuff I'm looking for when I go to conventions, yes, it's more expensive than it is buying off Facebook Marketplace or off of eBay or off of Bricklink. It's comparable to buying from a bricks and mortar second-hand Lego store because they have similar overheads. They're obviously having to pay to store. They're having money tied up in inventory. They're going to have to pay for all of their business expenses, their tax, all this they have to pay to be at the convention. And there's so much more cost involved in selling at a convention compared to selling on eBay that obviously the sets are going to cost a little bit more. And it's really easy to look at that as someone who's really super into the hobby and be like, well, I'll just buy on eBay then. And that's fair enough. Some people do just want the absolute best price. For me personally, I don't really like buying online because I've had a couple of bad experiences with sets that weren't quite what I was hoping for, weren't quite as described. And the thing I like and the thing I'm willing to pay a little bit more for at conventions and at independent Lego stores, which is why I make so much content from both of those places promoting these businesses, because I want them to succeed, even though they're a little bit more expensive. But I just love the peace of mind buying a physical product that I can look at before I hand the money over. I can buy it there and then and take it home with me immediately. It's not going to get destroyed in the post. It's not going to get lost in the post. I've got some comeback if it ends up being not as described. If I get it home and it's a box full of pasta, I can go back to that store or I can go back to that convention and that trader's going to be there again. You know, there is a way to have a little bit of protection. I know eBay has buyer protection and stuff built in, but I am inherently a lazy man and I don't want to do it. I don't want to wait a week after I've bought my set for it to turn up. And then I don't want to have to deal with all the jumping through hoops if something goes wrong and I have to use the buyer protection stuff. I know I'll get my money back eventually. That doesn't make it a fun experience. Whereas I think that browsing through physical product is a fun experience. And for me, and I think for a lot of other people, I'm willing to pay a little bit more in order to have the better shopping experience of shopping from a convention or from an independent Lego store. I think there's within that, you have to add the proviso of, I'm not going to pay like mega over the odds. So I would say I'll maybe go 10 to 20% over eBay price at a convention and I'll feel happy that I've got a good deal. If it starts to get more expensive than that, then I'm probably going to wait for another deal. I'm still probably not going to buy it on eBay, but I'll wait for a better deal at a different convention or a different shop. And obviously different people have their different threshold for that. And yeah, it varies from person to person, but I think that's why the used Lego is more expensive, because it's a better experience, it's a better product. You can charge more for a better product, but also there's more costs involved as well. So they're probably not making, I would argue your typical seller at a convention probably isn't making as much profit per set as your typical eBay seller, even though the eBay prices are lower. I don't know that to be true. I suspect the eBay person is actually making more profit from you though. So it's not that traders are monsters. They have higher costs and are providing a better product. Newer sets is a different thing entirely, because I know it is jarring for a lot of people and I get comments on every convention video I make. That set is available in the Lego store for this price. They're charging it for this price. That's £5 more. How can they get away with that? And I think you have to, again, remember that we as people, me making Lego content, you watching Lego content, we are the super nerds. We are the top 3% interested in Lego people. We're not your typical Lego consumer. We are the ones who know what the price is at the Lego store, but also know that there's deals at John Lewis or Amazon or Smith's or wherever else it might be. We're on top of the prices. We know how to shop for a deal. I make loads of videos telling you how to shop for a deal. But I would say most of the people buying brand new sets from Lego conventions do not consume Lego content, do not have that knowledge, do not care to get that knowledge, are just happy being able to get some Lego because for whatever reason, they can't any other way. Not everybody is able to shop online because not everybody can get access to banking, to credit cards, to debit cards, to whatever you need to be able to shop online. Not everybody is able to do that. And I can already hear the comment section. If someone can't even get a bank card, then they shouldn't be spending their money on Lego. That's not really for you to decide. They're not necessarily, I'm not saying that, they might have had credit problems years in their past. They might be absolutely fine now. They might really carefully budget. They might manage their money better than you do, but because of stuff that's happened in the past, or because of their work circumstances or their living circumstances, they've not got access to banking. So they have to deal in cash, or they prefer to deal in cash. And they might manage their money perfectly, and they might just be there to buy like a £30 set. And I don't think anyone should say they're not allowed to have that. So they can't buy online. Okay, why don't they go to Smith's? Why don't they go to the Lego store? Because not everywhere has them. I live in a part of the country where it's more than an hour in any direction to get to a Lego store. It's probably from my house 35, 40 minutes in any direction to get to even a Smith's Toys. I've got a B&M local to me, but B&M don't stock very much Lego. It's very unpredictable. The nearest John Lewis is pretty far away as well. So if I didn't have a car, and not everyone has a car, there's not, I mean, I don't know, but I don't think I can just get on a bus near my house and go to a Smith's Toys. They're not in shopping centres. And I certainly can't get on a bus and go to a Lego store because I live just outside of Leicester. There's no Lego store in Leicester. The nearest big towns and cities, Nottingham, Derby, Coventry, Northampton, Peterborough, Lincoln, Cambridge, Norwich, none of them have a Lego store either. So you can't get Smith's Toys in city centres usually. So you can't get the bus to it. There's no Lego stores in the city centres. There might be a John Lewis. There's a John Lewis in Leicester. They might have the set that I want. They might not. But what I'm getting at is certainly these touring Lego conventions. Like I was at the one in Peterborough the other week. For the people of Peterborough, if they're only able to buy in person or prefer to buy in person, that might be when the convention comes to town twice a year. That might be the only time they get to buy Lego. So yeah, they're going to buy their brand new set that they really, really want. And they don't mind paying £5 more for it because at least they can get it. And the person selling it is providing that service and they deserve to make a little bit of a profit on it as well. And I don't really see the harm in it. Nobody is making anybody pay the prices at conventions. And I think it's important sometimes to remember that different prices and different Lego sets and different traders are aiming at different people. Not every trader at every convention is aiming at the hardcore collectors. Some of them are aiming at your person who's got a casual passing interest in Lego, has turned up to the convention because it's the only thing going on in town that day, and they see a set that they think, actually, that looks quite cool. I'm willing to pay that price for it. I'm not going to go anywhere else looking for it. I'm not going to shop around for it, because they could look up on their phone if it's cheaper. They don't care. They see it at a price they're happy to pay, so they buy it there and then, and everyone's happy. And as long as everyone in the transaction is happy, it's not really down to you or me or anybody else to say, no, that's bad because that was too expensive. If the person selling it is happy and the person buying it is happy, then that's a good transaction. Obviously, the idea would be for Lego to open more Lego stores. I'd like that, please. But we don't live in that ideal world yet. So I think that's why new sets are often quite expensive at Lego conventions, because again, they can be. What would be the circumstances for you to buy any of the large Lord of the Rings sets after not really enjoying reading and or watching them? A lottery win, I guess. Or, you know, if I wake up tomorrow and we've got 500,000 YouTube subscribers and suddenly every video is getting 200,000 views and we can go and get a massive studio and we're making like ridiculous money and the audience makes it very clear they want it, then yeah, we'd do it for content. It's not something I want to own for my collection because it's really expensive and I'm not interested in having it and we've got nowhere to put it. So I'm not just going to buy it for the sake of buying it. But if we were so rich we had money to burn, then we probably would, because they do look like fun to build. Or if there was a good enough content reason, then we would, because if doing it is going to lead to me making more money than the set cost me, then it's good business to do. I don't think that's true for those sets at the moment either, though. So, yeah. I'm probably never going to get them. What do you do with sets you don't want to display anymore, like mid-size sets? Do they go into a storage box or broken down for spare parts? A little of each at the moment. I have got a video planned. I just need to get round to doing it, where we are going to basically have a bit of a clear out of the shelves, and a lot of the stuff that is that exact stuff you're talking about, the mid-size sets that have had their time on the shelves, are basically going to get broken down and eventually sorted for pieces. This is one of those things that ties into us eventually getting an office to work out of, because at the moment we put sets in a big box with a plan to sort them in the future, but because the big box is at the studio and we only go there one afternoon a week because that's all we've got time for, because it's far away, they never get sorted. So I've got like 4 big tubs of Lego under the city that need sorting. Some of them have got mostly complete sets in them. Some of them are just piles of bricks. Most of them are somewhere between the two. But yeah, I don't like reverse build the sets and keep the sets separate from each other. If I'm done displaying a set, it gets chucked in a big tub with other sets and eventually will get sorted. He says, eventually will get sorted and used for mocks, for rebrickables, for spare pieces. And, maybe one day some of these sets will get rebuilt, but it's probably unlikely. There's always so much new Lego and it's our job to build new Lego. So it's unlikely unless, obviously if YouTube went away and we ended up not being able to buy as much Lego as we buy now, and it became just a hobby again. Yeah, there's a scenario where 10 years down the line, I might want to rebuild an old Creative 3-in-1 set because I've still got it. I've still got all the pieces and I don't get new Lego anymore because Lego's expensive. Then I might rebuild some old stuff. But at the moment, when we're done with the Lego, it goes in a big tub. It will eventually get sorted. It will eventually be used for other stuff. I would love to get to the point where we have a properly sorted and catalogued parts collection. So when it comes to doing stuff like rebrickables, I can spend less money on Bricklink and on Pick-a-Brick, because one of the things that holds me back from doing as many rebrickables as I want to do is that they all come attached with like a £150 Bricklink order. And it'd be quite nice for that to be a £30 Bricklink order and a load of stuff that we pull out of our own inventory, because a lot of the pieces we buy in Bricklink we probably already own. It's just easier and more cost effective to just buy a replacement than spend an afternoon searching for it. So yeah, eventually it will all get sorted. It ain't going to be anytime soon though, because we're not there enough. It's something Anna has promised she'll do when we're working out the new studio, wherever and whenever that may be. Her big job is going to be sorting all of that. And she's even threatened we might set up her own Bricklink store at that point. Once it's all sorted and catalogued, we might even Bricklink some of it, because it's something she said she'd enjoy doing. She quite fancies the idea of doing it. Where are you going on the road trip? We are on it right now as you're watching this video, and we are basically going on a hybrid travel content. We have a travel channel as well, so we're producing a lot of travel content while we're away, but also tying in a lot of Lego shopping and Lego content as well. So we're doing a road trip across the Netherlands, Germany and Denmark. There'll be a couple of days where we go to Efteling in the Netherlands, which is a theme park we've always wanted to visit. Not very Lego-y, but we'll get some good travel content out of that. We're then going back up to Hamburg, where we spent a day when we were on our cruise earlier in the year, and it was very clear that Hamburg is all about Lego and we needed more time there. So we're going to spend 2 or 3 days in Hamburg, where we're going to head back to some of the places we went to the first time, like the Lego store, the Lego Discovery Centre, but we're also going to be going to some of the independent Lego stores. We've got 3 of those already set up, giving us permission to come and film. So there's going to be at least 3 videos from cool independent Lego stores in or near to Hamburg. So watch this space for them. They'll be coming out very, very soon. We might even be adding more of them as time goes on. I'd quite like to check out a German Smiths, because apparently they're really, really cool as well. So there'll be a lot of Lego shopping content that comes out of Hamburg. And then we're going to drive up to Billund, and Anna's going to go to Lego House for the first time. I've been there a couple of times. Anna's never been, so she's going to get to experience Lego House. We're going to go to Legoland Billund for the first time, which neither of us have ever been to. We've been to 2 Legolands previously, Windsor and Florida. This will be our 3rd Legoland. It also has the largest Lego store in the world is in Legoland Billund, so it'd be cool to check that out. So obviously we'll have plenty of content from Billund. We want to do some second-hand Lego shopping around Billund as well. There's some second-hand shops in Billund itself, also in Grinstead, I think it's called, which is just down the road. There's some really cool places to do like second-hand Lego shopping, so there'll be some of that that we do for content as well. And we're also staying at Lalandia, which is basically, from what I can tell, a bit like Centre Parks, and there's one in Billund and it looks really cool. And then we're heading to Bremen on the way home, just because the drive back from Billund all the way to where we're getting the ferry at the Hook of Holland is like an 8-hour drive, and I don't want to do all that in one day. So we'll stop at Bremen because it's just a different German city. I can't see that there's any independent Lego shops there, but again, we'll check out a local Lego store, Smiths, that kind of thing, and probably just have a day hanging out in Bremen before heading back and getting the ferry home again. So it's going to be a really cool trip. Lots of cool Lego content to come, lots of cool travel content to come. So make sure you subscribe to that channel as well. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really cool trip. It's a trip that I've been planning for over a year, and we're finally doing it. So I am very happy to be finally doing it. What skills from outside the Lego hobby do you find yourself using most within it? Are there any skills you wish you had to help with the city building, mock design, or anything with the hobby? See, this is interesting. I don't think I use any skills from outside the hobby within the, for me, I don't think the way I interact with Lego is particularly skilled. I don't do mocks. I'd love to be able to. My brain doesn't work that way. So that's a skill I'd like to have. I'm not very creative at all with Lego. My job is very creative. I'm creative all day, every day, making content. So the thing I use Lego for is switching that side of my brain off and enjoying just following some instructions. So I basically turn off all of my skills and just enjoy following instructions when I'm doing Lego. So yeah, not as much as you would think. Obviously, because I do a lot of content around Lego, my 15 years of content creation experience, I'm bringing a lot of skills over for the Lego content, but the actual Lego hobby itself is all about switching off the brain and just having a nice time. But that last bit, when you turn the cameras off, are you making engine noise as you push the cars around the city? I sometimes even do that with the cameras on. I don't wait for the cameras to be off. I love noises. I don't think you've ever watched our streams if you don't think I make weird noises. And then we've also got, if your city could only have 10 modular buildings or modular adjacent, what would you pick? And this is a fantastic question that I've deliberately not thought about in advance. So if we're saying modular adjacent, that means straight away, if I'm only allowed 10, we're immediately using spots on Avengers Tower and Daily Bugle. They're definites. I'm taking Sit Complex, even though it's a rebrickable, because I think it's awesome. I'm also having Brick Cross Station and the Art Factory, which are Bricklink Designer Program sets. So I've only got room for 5 modulars. I'm taking those 5, and then I'll take 5 official modular buildings. Tudor Corner is a must, because I love Tudor Corner. It's my favourite modular that they've ever done. So we're definitely taking Tudor Corner. I think I might be really boring and just take the most recent ones. I don't think I'd bother with Natural History Museum, so we could not take that one. But I think I definitely take Shopping Street, because I think it's cool, even though other people didn't. I think Shopping Street's cool. So Tudor Corner, Shopping Street, Boutique Hotel, and Jazz Club are easy. And then we flip a coin. Do we go Assembly Square? Because I think it's really iconic. It's very cool. It's obviously the first one that was more than a base plate. But I could also maybe take the Town Hall. I could maybe take the Fire Brigade. The thing is, with those earlier ones, they're just not on the same level. They look cool from the outside, but they've basically got no interiors and they're quite boring as a result. So although I'm glad I've got them, and weirdly, obviously they're more expensive because they're older, I just don't think they're as good as the modern ones. I think they're every year, the modulars get better and better, with the exception, the odd exception here and there. I don't think Shopping Street is better than Tudor Corner. I don't think Natural History Museum was better than whatever came before that. Bookshop, was it? Was the one before? I forget what was before that. Detective's Office? I can't remember. Detective's Office. See, I love that one as well. But no, I think I take Assembly Square just because it's iconic. So what have we got? Our little 10 building modular city. We're going Avengers Tower, Daily Bugle, Sit Complex, Brick Cross Station, Art Factory, Tudor Corner, Shopping Street, Boutique Hotel, Jazz Club, Assembly Square. There you go. That's 10. And I think that would be a very, very cool Lego city. And that brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for us. Keep an eye out for all of the road trip content, which should be starting any day now. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.